The stars above the Galactic Council chamber sparkled like diamonds scattered on black silk. Yet inside the mood was cold and tense. Delegates from hundreds of alien races sat in stiff rows, their faces a mixture of fear, suspicion, and pride. At the center, the human delegation stood quietly, calm but alert. Humanity had come to the Council seeking respect and recognition, hoping to find allies in the galaxy. Admiral Kieran Hale, the leader of the humans, straightened his shoulders. Beside him, Ambassador Lena Voss, a sharp and thoughtful diplomat, scanned the room. They knew the Council did not trust humans. It had always been that way. Other species whispered about human unpredictability, about their history of surviving impossible challenges. Some feared them, some envied them. But none could deny one thing. Humans were strong, clever, and determined. The chair of the Council, a towering insectoid called Zintrax, banged his gavel. "Humans," he said, his voice echoing across the chamber. "You stand accused of violating the Treaty of the Outer Systems. You have interfered with Council operations and endangered allied colonies. How do you answer?" Kieran Hale stepped forward. "We have done nothing of the sort," he said firmly. "We have followed the treaty exactly. If there has been interference, it was not by humans but by pirates and rogue elements outside our control. We asked the Council to investigate the facts, not the rumors." Murmurs spread across the chamber. Some species nodded in support, but many others shook their heads. The Council had already made up its mind. The humans' calm words fell on deaf ears. Zintrax's many eyes narrowed. "The Council has considered your defense. Evidence is clear. Your colonies have been supplying restricted technology to non-Council systems. Such actions threaten the balance of power. You are expelled from the Galactic Council. Effective immediately." The words hit the humans like a physical blow. Silence followed, heavy and bitter. The room seemed to shrink around them. Lena Voss's jaw tightened, but she remained composed. Kieran Hale's fists clenched at his sides, but his eyes did not falter. "Expelled?" Kieran asked calmly, though his voice carried steel. "Without proof? Without proper investigation?" Zintrax's mandibles clicked. "The Council has spoken. Your presence is no longer welcome. All human colonies will be cut off from interstellar trade and communications. You will answer to no one but yourselves. You are banished." A low hum of approval came from the majority of delegates. Some sneered, others whispered among themselves. A few sympathetic eyes looked at the humans with concern, but none dared protest openly. Kieran Hale turned to his team. "Prepare the fleet," he said quietly. "We leave the Council today, but this is not the end. Humanity will not bow to lies and fear." Lena Voss placed a hand on his arm. "We must be careful, Kieran. The Council underestimates us now, but their forces are vast. If we act hastily, we could lose everything." He nodded. "I know, but patience and planning will be our strength. We will show them what humans are capable of, not with anger but with action." The human delegation left the chamber in silence, heads held high. Outside, the Council halls bustled with activity. Delegates moving in hurried patterns, but the humans walked calmly. Their pride was unbroken, their resolve solid. Humanity had been humiliated, yes, but they were far from defeated. Back on their main ship, the resolute Kieran and Lena addressed the assembled human leaders. Scientists, engineers, generals, and diplomats crowded the command deck. Each face reflected a mix of anger, worry, and determination. "The Council believes they have weakened us," Kieran said. "They think cutting us off from trade and communication will stop our progress. They are wrong. We are not powerless. Our colonies are strong, our people are resilient, and our minds are sharp. This is a new beginning for humanity." Dr. Samuel Iqbal, chief scientist, stepped forward. "We can survive," he said confidently. "We have technology that even the Council does not fully understand. We can build faster ships, stronger defenses, and better systems for our colonies. This is not exile, it is freedom to grow in our own way." Lena Voss added, "We must also build alliances quietly. Many races resent the Council's arrogance. We can offer protection, trade, and knowledge. Slowly, we will gather friends and supporters across the galaxy." A murmur of agreement spread through the room. Despite the banishment, hope glimmered. Humanity had faced worse on their homeworld. Famine, war, and extinction, and yet they survived. The stars would not break them. Over the next weeks, human fleets departed from Council space, carefully avoiding patrols. Colonies once dependent on interstellar trade learned to adapt quickly. Engineers and scientists created new energy systems, new communication networks, and new agricultural techniques to sustain populations independently. In the outermost colony of Vesper 9, Commander Elena Mora watched the first human cargo ship arrive without Council interference. The colonists cheered as supplies were delivered, and she felt a surge of pride. Humanity was surviving and thriving, even without the Council's support. Meanwhile, intelligence agents quietly mapped the Council's patrols and resources. Humans discovered weaknesses: slow communication between Council systems, bureaucratic inefficiency, and arrogance that blinded them to real threats. Back on the Resolute, Kieran Hale convened his officers. "The Council believes humans are dangerous," he said. "Perhaps they are right, but not because we are violent or cruel. We are dangerous because we do not accept limits set by fear or lies. We will use this danger wisely to protect our people and build a future the galaxy cannot ignore." As months passed, humanity's banishment became a secret advantage. They moved quickly, building new ships and expanding colonies beyond what the Council imagined possible. Human engineers worked tirelessly to create faster propulsion systems, advanced weapons for defense, and AI systems that improved efficiency in every sector. Colonies that once struggled under Council rules now flourished. Farmers developed crops resistant to harsh planetary climates. Cities grew with new technologies and clean energy systems. Schools and training centers educated the next generation of humans to think critically, solve problems, and innovate. In a quiet moment aboard the Resolute, Lena Voss looked out at the stars. "It is ironic," she said softly. "The Council thought exiling us would stop us. Instead, it gave us freedom to rise in ways they cannot imagine." Kieran Hale smiled faintly. "The galaxy will see soon enough. They will see what humanity can do when not bound by fear or politics. They will see a race that refuses to be defeated. A race that turns exile into power." Even as the humans worked, word of their survival and ingenuity began to spread to nearby alien systems. Small colonies sent messages praising human efficiency and fairness. Rumors of humans solving problems the Council could not reach the ears of curious leaders across the galaxy. On the Council side, frustration grew. Reports came in of pirates defeated by humans, colonies thriving without Council support, and humans quietly forming alliances. The Council could not ignore these developments forever. They had assumed humanity's exile would be a warning and a lesson. Instead, it became a spark. In the final scene of Part 1, Kieran Hale stood on the bridge of the Resolute looking at a holographic map of the galaxy. Red dots marked human colonies. Blue dots represented Council systems. Between them, vast empty space waited. "This is only the beginning," he said to Lena and the officers around him. "The Council thought they could banish us. They thought they could humiliate us. But they underestimated one thing: humanity never stops. We adapt, we survive, and one day we will rise, not for revenge, but to show the galaxy what it truly means to be human." The stars outside seemed brighter that night, as if echoing his words. Across countless light years, a new chapter for humanity was beginning. A chapter of resilience, innovation, and the quiet determination that would one day reshape the galaxy. The galaxy had begun to whisper about humans. Small colonies told stories of engineers who could rebuild entire cities in days, fleets that moved faster and smarter than anyone expected, and leaders who inspired loyalty without fear. But the Galactic Council still ignored the growing power of humanity. They believed humans were clever but ultimately insignificant, a scattered exile that could never challenge their authority. On the edge of Council space, a human fleet prepared for its first major demonstration of strength. The Resolute, flagship of humanity, led the formation, with other ships of various sizes, fast attack vessels, long-range scouts, and cargo ships carrying supplies for allied colonies. Admiral Kieran Hale stood on the bridge of the Resolute, staring at the holographic map of the Council's outposts. "This is the moment they cannot ignore," he said quietly. "We will act with precision, not recklessness. Our goal is not to destroy, but to show that humans cannot be contained." Captain Reina Torres, commanding a strike group, nodded. "We have trained for this. Every ship, every crew member is ready. The Council's arrogance will be their mistake," Lena Voss added. "And we must remember diplomacy. Some colonies still fear retaliation if they openly support us. We give them hope, not fear. The target was a Council supply station orbiting the planet Xerion 5. It had long been a hub for Council patrols, receiving shipments of weapons, fuel, and intelligence. Humans did not plan to attack the planet or harm civilians. Their strike would be surgical, swift, and precise. As the fleet approached, human scouts detected the Council patrol ships surrounding the station. There were far more ships than the human fleet could face directly. But humans did not rely on brute force, they relied on ingenuity. Reina Torres smiled as she examined the holographic layout of the station. We will use their confidence against them. They think humans are small and disorganized. They will see otherwise. At Kieran's command, the human fleet split into smaller units. Some ships created electronic interference to confuse Council sensors, while others positioned themselves in hidden orbits. Small attack craft used cloaking systems developed in secret to approach the station undetected. Suddenly, the Council patrols scrambled, but it was too late. Human ships disabled the station's shields with precision bursts of electromagnetic pulses. Communication lines went dark. Council officers on the station could only watch as their systems failed one by one. We are not here to destroy, only to disable, Kieran reminded the fleet. Take control and withdraw. No unnecessary damage. Within hours, the human fleet had neutralized the station's defenses and taken control of its supply depots. The operation was efficient, flawless, and utterly human in its precision. On Xerion 5, citizens watched from orbiting observation platforms. They saw ships moving like a single organism, striking where needed and then disappearing before the Council could mount a response. Rumors spread. Humans were not only surviving, they were a force to be reckoned with. Meanwhile, Lena Voss worked behind the scenes, sending messages to neutral colonies nearby. We act not as conquerors, but as protectors, she wrote. The Council ignores your needs. Humans will offer help and safety. Join us if you choose, without fear of reprisal. Alien leaders were intrigued. Many were tired of the Council's arrogance and inefficiency. Seeing humans act decisively, yet without unnecessary destruction, inspired respect and curiosity. Slowly, they began to consider alliances with humanity. Back on the Resolute, Kieran reviewed reports of the strike. Every system functioned perfectly. Crew members performed beyond expectations. Engineers and AI systems adapted in real time to unexpected Council movements. This is only the beginning, Kieran said to his officers. The Council believed they could banish us without consequence. Now they see the cost of underestimating humans. We do not attack for revenge, we act to protect our people and allies. Captain Reina Torres approached him. The Council will respond. They always do. But now they must take us seriously. Kieran nodded. And they will. Let them come. We are ready. The Council's reaction was swift and panicked. Reports arrived of their station being captured without bloodshed, patrols disrupted, and their supply chains cut. Council leaders were outraged and confused. How could a banished species, thought weak and scattered, act with such precision? Councillor Zintrax called an emergency meeting. Humans have exceeded all expectations. They are no longer insignificant. They are organized, clever, and fast. We must respond carefully. But the Council was slow to act. Their bureaucracy and internal politics delayed decisions. Meanwhile, humanity continued quietly. They returned the captured station to operation under human oversight, ensuring no civilian systems were harmed. Supplies were used to support nearby colonies, further increasing human influence and reputation. In another sector, a human convoy delivered advanced energy systems to a neutral colony under threat from local raiders. Humans did not ask for payment. They offered technology, training, and protection. The colony, once fearful, now openly supported humanity. In the Phoenix, Captain Reina Torres trained new officers, preparing them for future operations. Precision, patience, and planning, she said. These are our strengths. Others may have numbers, but we have skill, intelligence, and unity. Dr. Samuel Iqbal observed quietly. What humans do is remarkable. We do not rely on sheer force. We use our minds, our creativity, and our courage. That is why even a small fleet can achieve what a massive Council armada cannot. Even ordinary citizens contributed. Engineers in distant colonies designed improved AI protocols. Young cadets trained in advanced tactics, and teachers educated children to think critically. Humanity's rise was not just military. It was cultural, technological, and moral. As weeks passed, news of the first strike spread across the galaxy. Aliens whispered about humans who could disable a council station without destroying it. Colonies began requesting human help, and small alliances formed quietly. Humanity's influence expanded beyond what anyone, including themselves, had expected. On the Resolute, Kieran Hale addressed his senior officers. "The Council underestimated us," he said. "But they will learn. Their arrogance blinds them. We do not need to destroy them. We need to be stronger, smarter, and ready. One day they will recognize humans not as troublemakers, but as a power they cannot ignore." Lena Voss added, "And we must remain careful. The Council will not forgive what we have done. They will try to strike back, but now we have allies. Now we have momentum. Humanity is no longer alone." Outside, stars stretched endlessly. Human ships moved quietly between colonies, carrying supplies, training officers, and sharing technology. Each journey strengthened humanity's presence in the galaxy, even while the Council scrambled in confusion. In a hidden observatory, scientists celebrated the success of new experimental systems, advanced sensors, shield generators, and fleet coordination AI. Each innovation gave humans an edge, and each edge strengthened their growing empire. Even the youngest cadets felt the change. On Vesper 9, a group of students watched simulations of the first strike. They learned how careful planning, intelligence, and teamwork could overcome larger forces. Some whispered, "One day we will lead the fleets that protect humanity." Kieran Hale watched all this with quiet pride. "We were banished," he said softly to Lena. "They thought that would stop us. But humans do not give up. We rise from the ashes, and this first strike is only the beginning. The galaxy would soon understand that humans were no longer just survivors. They were innovators, protectors, and rising leaders. Exile had made them stronger. The Council had unknowingly given humanity the freedom to grow beyond their imagination. And as Part 3 ends, humanity had shown its first real proof of strength. Not through destruction, but through intelligence, efficiency, and moral courage. The first strike was not an attack, it was a statement. Humans could no longer be ignored. The stars watched silently, but humanity's light was growing, brighter with each passing day. A new chapter in the galaxy was beginning, and the Council had no idea how powerful that chapter would become. The stars were quiet now, but the galaxy beyond was restless. Humanity's exile had left the Council confident and smug. They believed the humans were weak, scattered, and powerless. But far from the Council's prying eyes, human colonies were changing. What the Council saw as punishment became opportunity. In the outer systems, where Council influence was thin, human engineers worked tirelessly. Ships were upgraded with faster engines, stronger shields, and advanced sensors. New AI systems improved fleet coordination. Colonies that once relied on the Council's trade learned to build everything themselves, from energy plants to medical stations. Commander Elena, Mora walked through a bustling colony on Vesper 9. Children ran past the training centers, learning both science and survival skills. Adults worked side by side with engineers, building solar arrays and refining new technologies. Mora smiled, feeling pride. Humanity was surviving, not just surviving, but thriving. "We've done more in 1 year than some Council worlds do in a decade," said Dr. Samuel Iqbal, the chief scientist, as he observed a new starship launch. The Phoenix, a sleek human warship, glowed under the launch platform. "And we're just getting started." Kieran Hale stood nearby, arms crossed, watching the fleet. "The Council thinks this is just a small rebellion," he said. "They have no idea what's happening." "They'll find out soon enough," Lena Voss added, her eyes thoughtful. "And by then it may be too late." For months, humans spread quietly. Scientists discovered new energy sources on abandoned planets. Engineers constructed massive shipyards hidden in asteroid belts. Colonies communicated with one another using secure AI networks, sharing knowledge and resources faster than any Council system. Meanwhile, human scouts explored the galaxy. They mapped uninhabited systems, studied planetary resources, and discovered alien species that had never contacted the Council. These species were often oppressed, poor, or technologically behind. Humanity did not exploit them. Instead, they offered help, protection, and cooperation. Slowly, these species began to trust humans. On the desert world of Kithera, the first of these alien allies, the Lyrans witnessed human efficiency. Their water systems had failed, leaving thousands at risk. Human engineers arrived within hours, repairing the systems with machines the Lyrans had never seen before. Captain Reina Torres, a human officer, explained, "We don't just fix your problems. We build systems that will last. Your people deserve a future." The Lyran stared in awe. "Your race. You do not exploit, you do not conquer. You help, and yet you are feared?" Reina nodded. "Fear comes from misunderstanding. But one day the galaxy will see our strength and wisdom together, and then perhaps fear will turn into respect." Back on Vesper 9, human engineers unveiled a remarkable invention, a new propulsion system that allowed ships to travel faster and more safely through star systems. The Phoenix and other ships were now capable of journeys that the Council deemed impossible. "Once the Council sees this," Dr. Iqbal said, "they will realize they underestimated us, and they may regret it." "Regret?" Kieran Hale asked with a smirk. "No, they will panic. But that is for another day. Today we grow. Today we rise." Human fleets began defending themselves and nearby colonies, not with aggression but with precision. Pirates and rogue elements who had once preyed on isolated colonies were surprised when human ships intercepted them. Each confrontation was quick, efficient, and without unnecessary destruction. Word spread. Humans were not only surviving, they were strong, skilled, and unstoppable when united. In one daring mission, a small human fleet under Captain Reina Torres encountered a pirate armada attempting to blockade a neutral colony. The pirates believed they outnumbered the humans. They were wrong. Using a combination of speed, coordination, and clever tactics, the humans disabled the pirate ship's engines and communications without harming innocent colonies. By the time the Council learned of the incident, the pirate armada had been neutralized and the humans were already gone, leaving no trace but awe and astonishment. "We don't fight unless necessary," Reina explained later. "But we never allow injustice to succeed. That is the human way." Meanwhile, Lena Voss worked diplomatically, contacting neutral alien systems. She offered trade agreements, protection pacts, and shared technology. Many species were amazed by human honesty and skill. Slowly, an informal alliance began to take shape. The humans were no longer alone. In the Resolute, Kieran Hale reviewed reports from the outer colonies. Every message told a story of human ingenuity, courage, and resilience. "We've done well," Kieran said quietly, but with intensity. "But we cannot stop. The Council believes our exile has ended us. They think we are weak, scattered, and irrelevant. They are wrong. Soon they will see a power they never imagined." Dr. Iqbal smiled. "And we are not just building ships and weapons. We are building the human legacy. Knowledge, culture, and technology, something the galaxy will remember long after this Council forgets its arrogance." In a hidden research station orbiting a gas giant, human scientists tested a revolutionary energy system capable of powering entire cities. Engineers adapted alien materials discovered in abandoned colonies to build stronger starships. Colonists trained young humans to think critically, solve problems creatively, and embrace challenge without fear. Even as humans grew, the Council continued in ignorance. Their reports underestimated human resilience. Their spies failed to track secret shipyards. Their patrols missed fleets moving faster than ever before. Arrogance blinded them just as humans had predicted. In one quiet moment aboard the Phoenix, Captain Reina Torres looked out at the stars. "The galaxy thinks we are scattered, exiled, and weak," she said softly. "But we are united, stronger than ever, and ready for the challenges ahead." Lena Voss joined her. "The Council believes we act only for ourselves, but we act for all who deserve freedom and fairness. That is why species across the outer systems will join us. They will see humans are not just survivors. We are leaders." The following month saw more milestones. Human colonies created schools, training centers, and hospitals that were models of efficiency and care. Energy plants ran cleaner and more reliably than any Council system. Ships were built faster, smarter, and safer. Even ordinary citizens contributed ideas that changed technology and society. In one small mining colony, a teenager named Arik discovered a new method to extract rare minerals with minimal energy. Scientists celebrated his invention, and it was quickly adapted in other colonies. The story spread across the systems. Humans encouraged innovation at every level, not just from leaders. "The galaxy will notice," Lena said. One small invention at a time, humans are showing their brilliance. The Council finally began to hear rumors. Reports of thriving colonies, invisible shipyards, and advanced technologies could no longer be ignored. But they were slow to react, bound by bureaucracy and disbelief. They assumed these reports were exaggerations or isolated incidents. In truth, humanity had transformed exile into strength. Colonies that were once isolated and vulnerable were now hubs of technology, trade, and culture. Human fleets, though small, were highly trained and coordinated. New alliances were forming quietly, beyond the reach of Council spies. At a secret meeting aboard the Resolute, Kieran Hale addressed his team. The Council believes our exile has ended us. They believe we are weak. They are wrong. What they do not understand is this: humans never stop, never surrender, and never give up. We adapt, we innovate, and we grow stronger every day. One day they will see it, and it will be too late. A hush fell over the officers. They all knew the truth in his words. Humanity's exile was not a punishment, it was a challenge. And humans had always risen to challenges. Outside, the stars shone as humans worked quietly, steadily, and wisely. Across countless light years, a network of colonies thrived, protected by human ingenuity and courage. News spread to alien systems, inspiring hope and curiosity. Humans were no longer just a banished species. They were a rising power, building not only fleets and technology but trust, cooperation, and vision. The galaxy had underestimated them, but humans did not need recognition from the Council. They had each other, and that was enough. And so, as Part 2 ends, humanity stood on the edge of greatness. From exile had come freedom, and with freedom came strength. The seeds of a new human empire had been planted quietly, cleverly, and carefully. The galaxy would soon see that banishment was not the end. It was the beginning of humanity's rise. The galaxy was changing slowly but surely. Humanity, once banished and underestimated, was no longer hidden in the shadows. Their influence stretched across dozens of star systems. Colonies that had once struggled without the Council's support were now thriving hubs of technology, trade, and culture. What had begun as survival had turned into a quiet revolution. On the orbital city of Vesper 9, Governor Elena Mora observed the bustling human capital. Ships came and went with perfect coordination. Citizens moved efficiently, working together to maintain the city, train new officers, and develop innovative technologies. Children studied not only math and science but also ethics, leadership, and critical thinking. Every individual contributed to the empire's growth. "This is more than colonies," Elena said to her deputy. "This is a civilization reborn. The Council thought exile would end us. They were wrong. We are building something greater than they ever imagined." In the heart of human space, the Resolute acted as the command center for the new human empire. Admiral Kieran Hale oversaw not only fleets but also trade networks, cultural programs, and educational initiatives. Each decision was deliberate, combining strategy with fairness. Unlike the Council, which relied on fear and bureaucracy, humans thrived on cooperation, creativity, and intelligence. Ambassador Lena Voss reviewed reports from newly allied alien species. Many had joined humanity voluntarily, inspired by their fairness, efficiency, and strength. The Lyrans, who had once faced resource shortages, were now engineers and diplomats within the human alliance. Other species, previously oppressed or overlooked, had begun trusting humans to protect them. "The Council underestimates how quickly humanity can unite others," Lena said. "Every colony we help strengthens our position. Every alliance we form shifts the balance of power." Kieran nodded. "The Council thought exile would scatter us. Instead, it has shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. We act with integrity, and that earns loyalty. Strength alone is not enough. Wisdom and fairness are just as important." Human engineers worked tirelessly, creating ships faster and more advanced than anything the Council had imagined. Long-range scouts traveled light years in record time. Weapon systems were precise and defensive, designed to protect colonies rather than conquer. Energy shields, improved by human scientists, could withstand attacks that would cripple older Council vessels. At a training academy on Kythera, young human officers learned tactics that combined strategy, intelligence, and adaptability. Simulations placed them against larger fleets, forcing them to think creatively rather than rely on numbers. The result: was a generation of leaders who could act decisively in the most complex situations. In the neutral systems, the human reputation grew. Colonies observed humans solving problems that the Council had ignored for decades: energy shortages, infrastructure failures, and local disputes. Each success brought more allies. Slowly, ADI, network of human-supported systems, emerged, a web of trust, technology, and protection stretching across the outer galaxy. Captain Reyna Torres prepared her fleet for a demonstration near the border of Council space. Unlike the first strike, this operation was public. Humans would show their presence without aggression, proving they were a force to be respected and consulted, not feared. "The galaxy will see," Reyna said. "We are no longer hidden. This demonstration is our way of saying humans are leaders, innovators, and protectors." The human fleet moved with precision. Drones scanned nearby systems, scanning for threats and ensuring civilian populations were safe. Ships performed coordinated maneuvers displaying speed, agility, and teamwork. Aliens observing from a distance were impressed. Even neutral Council patrols could not ignore the display. Lena Voss sent messages to neighboring systems. "Human fleets act to protect and support. We invite you to join us willingly. Together we can create a galaxy where fairness and cooperation matter more than fear and control." The effect was immediate. Several smaller species sent envoys, requesting membership in the human alliance. Colonies previously too afraid to resist the Council openly began collaborating with humans. Slowly, the idea of a human-led empire was no longer a rumor. It was reality. In the Council chambers, panic began to spread. Reports of human fleets moving freely, colonies thriving, and alien species joining humanity were impossible to ignore. Councilors argued and debated, but their indecision only gave humans more time to grow. Councilor Zintrax's mandibles clicked in frustration. They are organizing, expanding, and forming alliances. What was meant as exile has become their strength. We underestimated them. Too late to undo it. Even within the Council, some voices suggested diplomacy. "Perhaps we should negotiate," one councillor said quietly. "They do not attack recklessly. Their influence is spreading. We must consider them as equals." But the Council was slow, blinded by arrogance and fear. By the time they attempted any action, humans had already established secure supply lines, advanced fleets, and strategic alliances across dozens of systems. In the Resolute, Kieran Hale convened his officers. "The Council will respond," he said. "They always do. But we act from strength, not fear. Our colonies are united. Our fleets are capable. Our allies trust us. That is how we will continue to rise." Dr. Samuel Iqbal added, "Our technology is advancing daily. Shields, sensors, AI systems. The Council cannot match us yet. Every day we grow stronger, not to attack, but to protect. And protection builds loyalty, not resentment." On Vesper 9, a public ceremony celebrated the integration of human and alien engineers, scientists, and leaders. Flags of different species waved together. The crowd cheered. Children watched in awe, inspired to innovate, lead, and explore. Humanity's culture was becoming an example for the galaxy. Kieran addressed the assembly. "The Council believed they could banish us. They thought it would stop our growth. Instead, it has united us. Today, humanity is not just surviving. We are thriving. We are not alone, and we will not bow to fear or lies. Together, we are building a galaxy of fairness, wisdom, and innovation." Even in quiet moments, humans continued to plan. Engineers tested new long-range communication networks. Scientists discovered ways to harness energy more efficiently than ever before. Colonies created self-sustaining ecosystems, ensuring prosperity even if Council interference came. Captain Reyna Torres trained her fleet for rapid response, teaching them to defend not just humans but allied species as well. "We protect all who stand with us," she said. "Strength is meaningful only when it protects, not destroys." The galaxy took notice. Small factions began switching allegiance from the Council to humans. Diplomats whispered about a new order emerging. Even some council systems quietly acknowledged that humans were no longer a problem to be ignored. They were leaders in the making. At a secret human outpost near the Nebula Cluster, engineers unveiled a massive new starship design. Sleek, powerful, and capable of traveling great distances with minimal resources, it represented humanity's vision for the future. Exploration, defense, and cooperation, not conquest. "You see, Admiral," Dr. Iqbal said, "this ship is more than a fleet asset. It is a symbol. Humanity rises not through fear, but through knowledge, courage, and unity." Kieran nodded. "The galaxy will remember this moment. They will see that humanity, once exiled, now leads through example. The Council may resist, but the truth is clear. Humans do not bow. We rise." As Part 4 ends, humanity's empire had fully emerged, not through violence or oppression, but through intelligence, unity, and moral strength. Colonies flourished. Fleets moved with precision. Allies joined willingly, and the Council's authority was quietly challenged at every turn. The galaxy watched as a new human-led order began to take shape. From exile had come greatness. From oppression had come innovation. The Council had been warned, and soon, the galaxy would see just how unstoppable humanity had become. The stars above reflected the lights of 1,000 thriving human colonies. Humanity's rise was no longer a secret. It was a beacon of hope, strength, and brilliance. The galaxy had changed. Humanity, once exiled and dismissed, now commanded respect across dozens of systems. Colonies flourished under human guidance, fleets moved with precision, and allied alien species openly supported the human cause. The Galactic Council could no longer ignore what it had once called a minor problem. Council chambers buzzed with tension. Delegates argued and shouted, trying to formulate a response. Councillor Zintrax, the insectoid leader, banged his gavel, demanding silence. His mandibles clicked in frustration. "Humans are no longer insignificant," he said. "They have united systems, gained allies, and built fleets beyond our expectations. We underestimated them. We must act carefully." But it was too late for caution. The galaxy had seen humans act decisively, yet without unnecessary violence. Their first strike, their aid to struggling colonies, and their fair leadership had earned loyalty and admiration. More species were choosing to side with humanity voluntarily, weakening the Council's influence. On the flagship Resolute, Admiral Kieran Hale prepared his officers for the next stage. "The Council knows we exist now," he said. "They may attempt action, but we will not attack them. We will demonstrate our strength and offer peace, not fear. The galaxy watches, and we act as leaders, not conquerors." Captain Reina Torres studied fleet reports. "Every ship is ready, every officer trained. We have done everything possible to be prepared for any challenge. But we act with wisdom, not haste," Lena Voss added, "and diplomacy must guide us. We offer the Council an opportunity to acknowledge humans as equals. If they refuse, then the galaxy will see their arrogance for what it is." The first Council fleet to enter human space did so cautiously, sending envoys instead of attacking. Human scouts had anticipated this. They met the envoys at a neutral system and offered safe passage, hospitality, and clear communication. Kieran Hale addressed the envoys directly. "We were banished by the Council," he said calmly. "You thought exile would weaken us. Instead, it has shown the galaxy who humans truly are. We act with fairness, wisdom, and strength. We do not attack unless necessary, but we will defend ourselves and our allies. We offer you peace if you acknowledge humanity as an equal power." The envoys were stunned. They had expected confrontation, but instead found confidence, intelligence, and restraint. They reported back to the Council. This act alone began to shift opinion within the chambers. Some councillors whispered about the possibility of negotiation, while others argued for aggression. Meanwhile, human fleets patrolled strategically. They did not attack but demonstrated readiness and precision. Ships moved through sectors with synchronized coordination, showing they could respond to any threat instantly. Colonies under human guidance displayed advanced infrastructure, advanced defenses, and thriving communities. Alien species observing these movements were inspired. They began sending envoys to join the human alliance. For the first time, the galaxy saw a network of systems united not by fear but by trust, respect, and shared vision. Humanity was no longer just a banished species, they were a unifying force. In the council, frustration grew. Signtrax slammed his gavel repeatedly. "They have no need to attack us," he said. "And yet the galaxy admires them more than us. Our authority erodes daily." Councillor Thrin, a species known for pragmatism, spoke quietly. "Perhaps we should negotiate," he suggested. "They do not seek conquest. Their strength is real, but it is guided by fairness. Acknowledge them or risk losing allies across the galaxy." Zintrax's eyes narrowed. "Negotiate? After we banished them?" "Yes," Thrin replied. "They have shown restraint, wisdom, and power. Continuing to oppose them blindly will weaken us further." Back on the Resolute, Kieran Hale received the Council's envoy. "We offer peace," he said, addressing the representatives. "Humanity will not seek revenge. We will not take what is not given. But we ask to be recognized as equals. Our colonies, our fleets, and our allies demand respect. This is not arrogance, it is justice." The envoys returned to the Council carrying Kieran's words. Silence followed as delegates realized the truth. Humans were a power that could not be ignored, punished, or dismissed. They had acted with moral authority, strength, and intelligence. To demonstrate humanity's full capability, a combined fleet assembled near the Council's outer territories. It was the largest human fleet yet, combining defense, mobility, and technology that surpassed most Council expectations. But there was no intent to attack. Every move was deliberate, calculated to show capability without causing harm. Kieran addressed his officers. "The Council must see who we are. Strength without destruction, leadership without cruelty. If they accept, we will continue to build a galaxy together. If they refuse, then the galaxy already knows the truth." The final meeting between humans and the Council took place on neutral ground. Kieran, Lena Voss, and senior human officers met with Council leaders, including Zintrax. The hall was filled with tension, but also an unusual sense of curiosity. Kieran spoke clearly. "We were exiled under false accusations. We were dismissed, underestimated, and labeled dangerous. We did not retaliate with fear or aggression. Instead, we united, grew, and acted with fairness. Today, we offer you peace if you recognize humanity as an equal in the galaxy." The room was silent. Many counselors had never seen such confidence and moral clarity. Some began to murmur, acknowledging the truth in Kieran's words. Zintrax's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "Your rise has been remarkable," he admitted. "The Council underestimated humans. Perhaps too long." Lena Voss stepped forward. "Recognition does not mean surrender or weakness. It means honesty, fairness, and cooperation. Humanity seeks partnership, not conquest. The galaxy benefits when powers act with wisdom and respect." One by one, alien counselors nodded, realizing the truth. Humans were not a threat for destruction. They were a threat only because they refused to be contained. Their strength was not in weapons or numbers alone, but in intelligence, morality, and unity. After hours of negotiation, the Council formally recognized humanity as an equal power. Their colonies, fleets, and alliances were acknowledged. Trade and communication channels were reopened, not as a favor, but as recognition of human achievement. Back aboard the Resolute, Kieran Hale addressed the crew. "The Council has recognized humanity," he said, pride in his voice. "Not because we demanded it, but because we earned it. Through intelligence, courage, and fairness, we have risen from exile to leadership." Captain Reyna Torres smiled. "The galaxy now sees humans for what they truly are. Not reckless, not insignificant, but capable, fair, and strong." Lena Voss added, "And this is only the beginning. Recognition is not the end. We will continue to build alliances, protect colonies, and explore the galaxy. Humanity's example will inspire others to act with courage, wisdom, and fairness." In the outer systems, celebrations erupted. Colonies cheered, aliens joined the festivities, and fleets moved with pride. Humanity's rise had not come through fear or domination, but through leadership, intelligence, and moral strength. Even the youngest humans felt the change. On Vesper 9, children watched holographic reports of the Council's recognition. They learned that perseverance, fairness, and courage could overcome even the most powerful obstacles. Dr. Samuel Iqbal reflected quietly with Kieran. "The Council believed they could stop us with exile. Instead, they gave us freedom to grow, to innovate, and to prove our worth. Humanity's rise is more than power, it is a symbol." Kieran nodded. "We were banished, underestimated, and dismissed. But humans never stop. We adapt, we protect, we create. Today the galaxy knows it. Tomorrow they will see the full potential of humanity. The stars shone brightly across the galaxy. Human colonies, fleets, and allies were now part of a new order. From exile had come wisdom. From oppression had come strength. Humanity's rise was complete, not as conquerors, but as leaders who earned respect through courage, intelligence, and fairness. And as Part 5 ends, the galaxy had changed forever. The humans, once banished, now led not by fear but by example. Their empire was not just a collection of systems. It was a symbol of what resilience, ingenuity, and morality could achieve. Humanity had turned exile into triumph, and the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter under the light of human achievement. The Council had learned a lesson: never underestimate a species that refuses to be defeated.